Hi there, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So it's time for those masterpiece albums. Every year I do this, add 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 even to my masterpiece collection. Albums that I think deserve to kind of make this list. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean these are your masterpieces or that the world views these as masterpieces. This is just my own personal feelings towards these albums. I had 18 on the list to consider today, so basically I went through them all and listened to them, and then pulled about 10 of them from the list for various reasons. And so I was left with about 8. And then from that 8, I took 3 of them and was viewing them with serious consideration. So 5 of them, I thought these 5 are going to make it automatically, I think. The other 3, maybe not. So one of them was an album that I've only had for about 3.5 years, so it's just in its first qualification for it. I haven't listened to it much in the last little while, so I thought maybe I should give it a little bit longer before I decide to put this one in. So I removed that one, and then the next one up. I've been listening to this album for 30 or 40 years, and for whatever reason, it doesn't ever quite make it to this level. I'm not sure why. By listening to it more lately, I actually thought that it would make the list and then changed my mind at the last minute, and so it was the last one to knock off. And then the third one was a debut from a band that I like this album a lot, but I just don't listen to it as much as I used to, and I'm wondering if maybe it's just not up to the snuff. I think it's close, but I decided to just go with the 5 that I had already picked that I thought were automatics for me. There was 5 in total. So the first one, we did a video on it on this week on ranking the songs off an album. For those of you who want, you can go back and watch that episode. We're going to go with Cheap Trick's Heaven Tonight. This has long been an album that I quite frequently take off of my shelf to play. It used to be a regular album for me in the car. I had about a dozen or so albums that I played regularly in the car. This was definitely one of them. And it's continued to be something I regularly listen to since I got it. And it's only gotten stronger. I mean, yeah, it's got a bit of a burnout going on right now, but it's had that before and come back. And so I decided it definitely deserved to be in the masterpiece list. And so I'm going to include this one on my masterpiece list. This will be the first one I'm including for this year. Heaven Tonight from Cheap Trick. Next one up, I don't know why this isn't on the list. I thought it was, but it apparently isn't. So automatically I knew that it should be on there for that reason alone. Jimi Hendrix, Bold as Love. Got into this album in the mid-'80s, and it's pretty much been my go-to Hendrix album ever since. I love almost everything on it. Up in the Skies, great track. Spanish Castle Magic and Castles Made of Sand, love them both. A couple of my favorite Hendrix songs here. I Don't Want to Wait Till Tomorrow. Yeah, great tune. Just underrated tune for sure. Little Wing, of course, well known, and If 6 Was a 9, another well known track. You Got Me Floating. Yeah, killer track. She's So Fine. This is the Noel Redding vocal song, which I like quite a bit. And then the title track, Bold as Love, or Axis Bold as Love. Really good. This was produced by Chas Chandler. Yeah, definitely deserved to be on here. I'm surprised it isn't actually on my list already. It may be I just missed it for some reason, but I don't think it is, but it's going on there now. Next up, this is quite possibly my favorite Iron Maiden album. It bounces between first and third. There's like 3 of them that do this. The other 2, of course, are already masterpieces. This one deserves to be on here. From top to bottom, one of their strongest albums. I do like the cover quite a bit as well. This is Seventh Son of the Seventh Son from Iron Maiden. All the tracks on here are good. There are no bad tracks. And of course, it's done by Martin Birch, so it's great. I like the back cover quite a bit as well. So, great album. Deserves to be in my masterpiece collection and is now going to make it. Next up is almost a foregone conclusion. The problem with this album, the reason it took so long to get on here, was that I never owned it, but I knew all the tracks. I had all the tracks. Was familiar with everything on here. Wish You Were Here. Some people consider this to be Pink Floyd's best album. I'm not quite there with that, but I do love it. Shine On You, Crazy Diamond, Part 1 and Part 2. Of course, we all know those tracks. Welcome to the Machine, probably my favorite track on the album. I've been listening to it forever. Have a Cigar was the only track on here that I hadn't listened to all that much when I bought it. And Wish You Were Here, of course, the title track, fantastic. Album cover's kind of funny, too. I do like this little black back thing, too. So Wish You Were Here is going to be one of the tracks from Pink Floyd to get in the masterpiece. I think this gives Pink Floyd 3 now with me. Animals, Dark Side of the Moon, and this one. Can't argue really with any of them. This will be the second album by this band to make my list. Kind of surprising that they don't have more up there, but they went through a period of time for about, I don't know, it's fairly lengthy time from about the mid-90s through to probably about the late, maybe 2015. So a fairly lengthy time where I didn't really listen to much of anything other than the one album that I have in the masterpiece. This one deserves to be on here. It was between this and another one by them, but this one I think is 10 or 15% better than that one. So we're going to go with this. Allied Forces from Triumph. I know there's at least one person that watches my channel that will love this, thinks this album deserves to be on there. It's if I have an album that I usually go to with Triumph over the last half dozen years, it's usually this one. So yeah, definitely gotta hear this. It's got Fool for Your Love on here. The title track, Allied Forces. I could do without Magic Power. Not that it's a bad song, it's just I think it gets too much airplay. Fight the Good Fight, of course, maybe one of their best, if not one of, at least a top 5 track for them. Ordinary Man, great. Petite Etude, I love, and Say Goodbye to end it, fantastic. Even Hot Time in the City Tonight, which kind of burns out after a bit, I still like that too. So those are my 5 albums to make my new, add to my masterpiece collection. Heaven Tonight from Cheap Trick. Axis Bold as Love from Jimi Hendrix. Seventh Son of the Seventh Son from Iron Maiden. Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd. And last but not least, Triumph's Allied Forces. Maybe their biggest selling album too, I think. So anyways, that's my choices for today. Next year, there's those ones that didn't quite make it. There's 13 of them didn't quite make it. Most of them will be back for another attempt, and there'll be some new ones that I've gotten into on this channel as well that I think will probably make that. Possibly by then, one of the channel's albums will actually make it, and I think I know which one it'll be. I probably should have made it this year, but I think I'll give it another year to think about it. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Masterpiece Albums. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want, you can make comments on any of the 5 albums I've chosen, or maybe there's some albums you would like to bring up for my consideration. You can do that as well. So take care, have yourself a good night, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.